I had always shared a perfect relationship with my mother-in-law, Betsy Dutton. We were the model pair of a wealthy family. She and my father-in-law, Rourke Dutton, had been childhood sweethearts, their bond seemingly unbreakable. But one day she told me something that changed my entire perception of them. She clutched my hand and tears were streaming down her face. "Naomi," she sobbed, "your father-in-law, he's been keeping a mistress. They even have a child together. For over 10 years I've been in the dark, made into a laughingstock." My throat tightened and I couldn't hold back my own confession. "Mom, actually, Julius is no better. He bought a whole apartment building for his mistress." We wept in each other's arms, our heartbreak spilling out in waves. After what felt like an eternity, she sniffled and straightened herself. "Men are utterly unreliable creatures. I'm done with that old man, Naomi." I gripped her hand tightly. "Mom, wherever you go I'll follow. I'm done with Julius too." My mother-in-law, Betsy Dutton, and I reached a consensus instantly. We soon began planning our escape. After much thought, I realized that faking our deaths was the best option. Betsy had been a pampered girl, married to my father-in-law, Rourke Dutton, at the tender age of 20. She had dedicated her life to supporting him and raising their children, so she was naive and innocent in many ways. But when it came to acting, she still had her skills. "Naomi dear, I only have so much on hand. How do we begin?" I looked at the documents she handed me, and my eyes widened in disbelief. $300 million? I shouldn't have been too shocked. Betsy came from money. Compared to her, I had a meager $5 million. But even that was more than enough to last us 3 lifetimes. "I have a plan," I said. Betsy trusted me completely, so I set the plan into motion without delay. In 2 days it would be Rourke's birthday. We decided to host the party on a luxury cruise. It was innovative, yes, but more importantly, it would provide the perfect cover for our escape. Time was running out, so I outsourced everything. As for the spark that would ignite the whole plan, that would naturally be the woman Julius was involved with. If she had dared to accept the apartment unit he gave her, she should be ready to face the consequences. On the day of his birthday celebration, Betsy wore a full Chanel outfit, her youthful face only enhancing her beauty. Rourke stood by her side. Though old, he had a boyish air about him which drew the attention of many wealthy women. Guests moved around us and Betsy smiled, nodding at me through the crowd. We shared a silent understanding. Just then, Julius Dutton walked up to me and wrapped his arm around my waist. "You look stunning tonight." The warmth of his palm against my waist made me shiver and I instinctively pulled away. "You look pretty handsome yourself tonight," I replied with a smirk. "You've got so many admirers. I feel like I've been stabbed by their gazes 1,000 times over." Several beautiful women stood nearby, all eyeing Julius. He rested his chin on the top of my head and whispered, "They can look but they can't touch. I'm yours and only yours." I suppressed my disgust and met the gaze of someone in the distance. I forced a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Too bad for some people. I glanced at the building he'd given his mistress. "That's quite a valuable gift. It seems this young lady holds a very special place in your heart." Julius stiffened, then lowered his hand. "Don't jump to conclusions. It's all for work." "I understand," I replied with a knowing smile. "You're just spending lavishly for love, right?" Julius tried to explain, but I cut him off with a pat on his arm. "I'm going to check on Mom. You can do as you please." I made my way toward Betsy as Valerie Turner approached and wrapped herself around Julius. When I reached Betsy, she grabbed my hand and led me toward the deck. "Are you ready?" she asked. "I'm ready. Don't worry." We exchanged a smile just as Valerie came over. "Naomi, and Mrs. Dutton, you're here too?" Betsy looked at her suspiciously. "You convinced my son to buy you an apartment, and you dare to show your face to me." Valerie glared at her. "I didn't ask him to. Julius did it willingly." Betsy could no longer hold back her anger. Valerie clutched at her cheek in shock. I sneered. "Mom only has one son and he's married to me. What makes you think he'll just give an apartment away to you? Do your fans know how shameless you really are behind the scenes, Valerie?" Valerie was furious and looked ready to fight. Betsy and I struggled with her, but in the chaos I lost my balance and toppled backward, tumbling over the railing. "Naomi!" Betsy screamed and reached out in desperation, but her hands grasped only air. Valerie was terrified. "No, it wasn't me. Who else could it be? You've taken my daughter-in-law."